Is anyone using TikTok? I don't know. I don't use TikTok
Can
or
you even
Instagram.
download that now? Because they did disable that in the
Yeah.
Play Store.
Yeah, they re-enabled that. Not
Oh,
too
they did.
I probably wasn't even down a couple of weeks. Yeah, Amy, it was a great update. We'll give it a couple more minutes. But yeah, social media platforms, you want to use them if you can, but what you want to do, just a little gold nugget, is brand yourself correctly first with one social media platform. And then once you've done that, meaning that if you go and you look at my profile, that'll give you a pretty good example of what branding does. Because what you got to do to brand yourself is develop what? Your funnel. Okay. And your funnel is pretty simple, and using Facebook Pro for free, because you want the analytics. The analytics will tell you everything, tell you. And so then you have to learn what demographics you want to go after, so and it depends on what you're doing it for. Okay. So in my case, my demographics are a couple of different groups of people. One of them are network marketers. One of them are brothers and sisters in Christ. And then the other ones are people that shop online.
Yes.
And the reason for three different groups is because they are very specific. Number one. Number two, there's thousands of Facebook groups for each one of those niches. I mean, literally thousands. And then the process, it's not overnight. You're not going to do all this in a week or a month. I spent 14 months and probably 6 months longer than I should have, but Dave knows me. I don't ask for help. So, so I can tell you all the things you don't want to do for sure. But yeah, if you go look at my profile, you'll see why I have so much reach and engagement. So engagement comes from reach, and engagement means that you have the right reach. So, and the right reach is that you're talking to the right people for what you're see, because it's David could talk to you about email marketing in the same vein, right, Dave?
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, because you have to target a specific group of people based on your message.
Right.
Does that make sense?
That's the reason for a good lead capture page because you
Yeah,
build that
exactly.
list up and you've got pretty much the same audience.
Exactly. And so, so with Facebook, now I could spend money. Oh, I absolutely can spend money. And they want me to spend money, but I've never spent a dime. And I've got 7,000 followers. And yes, I've got Facebook friends, but that's not really counted. It is and it isn't. Okay. So your followers is what they actually track. So that's why I say they really track your followers, because they track followers and they track for you people that unfollow you. Okay. And most of the people that unfollow you is probably because you didn't follow them back. Now there's some different strategy to that too. So yeah, I'm going into some training and stuff, but at the end of the day, uh, get your brand, which is you. It's not your company. Okay. Yes, you're going to have links, obviously, if you're promoting a company, product, or service. Okay, but you have to brand yourself first,
Yep.
right, Dave?
People don't join businesses, they join people.
Correct. It doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if it's Alpes. Doesn't matter if it's Amway, Mary Kay. It doesn't matter. The people that are the most successful, no matter what product that they promote, what service they promote, is the ones that are not promoting the company that makes the product. Now, obviously, if you're a product developer, right,
Right.
you're going to promote yourself as well. because you are what? A product developer that are going to be looking for affiliates to do what? To promote you. So,
Right.
yeah, that's kind of the way that works.
That's how the big guys do it.
Yeah. Yeah, word of mouth in the real world, so to speak. And it's 12:05, so we're getting started now. But long story short is it's like income streams. Here's another gold nugget. In Des Alpes, we have 3 income streams under one umbrella. So you actually are only developing one income stream, but you have 3 under the umbrella just by
Right.
default. Right, Dave?
Yep.
Okay. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean that until you are in profit with your first income stream, please do yourself a huge favor. Don't go jumping around to other shiny syndrome objects, the newest thing. There's so many the newest things every day. And yes, we are new. No doubt, we are new. Okay? So we are not established like Amazon. Amazon's got 30 years on us. Okay? Understand that in our world, our competition is Amazon as far as company versus company. So it's Des Alpes versus Amazon. Okay. I'm not branding Des Alpes, and I darn sure ain't branding Amazon. I use Amazon as an analogy in my promotion of my brand, which is me and Global Legacy Builders. Why Global Legacy Builders? Because that is my domain, the .net part. I'm going to get the .com, but I got the .net right now. And it's tied to our room where we do what? Communicate, and we'll be training in there. And it's also tied into the Christian side of things because it's tied directly to a Bible passage itself as well. So it has a dual function. But first and foremost, one income stream. Get it profitable. Now, when we talk about being in profit, yes, the majority of you here probably. Well, first of all, let's back up a second. If you are a guest here, or this is the very first time, give me a 1. Give me and David a 1. If you are a guest, or this is your very first time you've been on one of our webinars, give me a 1, just so I can see who's may. Okay, so we've got everybody here that are members. Okay, is there anybody here as that's a free member for now? Because obviously we've been able to bring in free members since February 1st, and that has not stopped yet. We'll talk about that a little bit too. Okay, all right, all paid members. Okay, if you've got at least your first 2 people, let's just show everybody. And this is when we're talking about that we're in profit, because that's where it all starts. Right, David?
That's right.
If you're in profit, if you've got at least 2 people, which means you're in profit, give us a 2. I tricked you, John. If you don't have your 2, okay, that's fine. Good. Free member. We give you an opportunity to look for a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with that. Most businesses have a free opportunity, and that's only for a period of time, which ours will be as well. Yeah, I'll talk about that here in a minute, Danny, because that goes to the side of the fact that we are not a money grab. We are not network marketing. We're not an MLM. I've been saying that for how long, David?
Since the beginning.
9 months now.
Yeah.
Right. But we are online shopping. Online shopping is not a fad. It is not just a trend. It is a phenomena that it took, well, took Bezos 30 years to get it where he wanted. But, I don't know how much money Jeff invested over the years that he was involved with Amazon as the owner. But we know that he sold that business model just recently, and he's a billionaire, and that's all that matters for him. Okay. Why do I say that? Well, because 30 years ago, Jeff started with one product, and that's like most businesses. Okay. So when you look at Amazon now, it's hard to see Amazon from 30 years ago, but I know Amazon from 30 years ago. There's people on this call that know about Amazon from 30 years ago.
It's hard to believe it's been 30 years. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's 3 decades. I mean,
Yeah, that's all
so 30 years ago, I'm 38 years old,
right.
and I remember those years. But I didn't have a smartphone then, and I just now got one. I just now got one. That's so
Behind
funny
the
to say,
times,
David.
sir. Behind
I,
the times.
well, that's what my daughter said. So my daughter went out for Christmas and bought me a what is this thing? It's a well, I can show you. It's one of these things. it's
Apple or Android?
a Apple. I think
Apple.
it's a 15.
Like an i16 or something.
No, not the 16. Well, hang on a second.
My
That was
son's wanting
Denis
me.
Drapeau. Denis Drapeau just texted me, for those of you that know that name. And yes, Danielle Delpay and Denis Drapeau are in constant contact with Gary and I, and have been now for several months, 4 months, I guess. So, and that's a good thing for all of us.
Oh yeah,
Good
most
thing for
definitely.
everybody here.
It's
So,
not
yes, she
what you
is a
know till
wonderful
you know.
daughter. She's a wonderful daughter. And I need prayers. Speaking of my daughter, we've been waiting patiently, David, for 2 weeks now since she got the phone call that told her that yes, the biopsy is positive
Oh no.
for two markers that suggest cancer of the uterus. She's 31 years old, and this is comes out of the blue. And outside of that, she's perfectly healthy. And
Ivermectin.
so tomorrow at 3:15, we go here in Tulsa. Matter of fact, to the same doctor, well, the same group of doctors that are in, my heart doctors are in, and find out. Well, what we're going to find out is what they're going to tell us, obviously, based on the biopsy results. And then they're going to suggest a protocol, and we're going to say, thank you very much. We appreciate your time. And then we're going to leave from there. And just so that you all understand, with my family is we are not vaxxers. We did not take the shot. We don't take the boosters. We don't take the flu shots. And I don't tell this to you for you to run out and say, "Oh my God, Bob just told me not to take any vaccinations." No, Bob did not say that. I'm not telling you not to have your children. If you're not going to homeschool them, then before they go to public school, they will get shots. And matter of fact, the measles is running rampant right now. Measles is running rampant right now.
Well, I've read a lot of reports lately, Bob, of some well-known doctors that are holistic doctors, and
Yep,
they're finding studies right now that most cancers that they're diagnosing is parasites.
correct. Been hearing that too.
So ivermectin is really good. You can buy
Yep.
that over the counter. Moringa is a good one. Thanks for that, Carmen. I've read about the moringa. It's a powerful substance. And so there's a lot of natural things you can do. And Bob, you've got in your back office with LG is the methylene blue. That's also good.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, my doctors don't want me to take it just because I'm a heart patient and on meds. My son has been taking now, and David brings up an interesting thing. And of course, this is off topic, obviously, but methylene blue. Do your own research first of all before we are not promoting any Live Good products here. Okay, that's not what this this is about. But do yourself a favor, do your own research. What really impresses me right now in our society is that do not take the first word out of any doctor's mouth.
That's
I don't
right.
care if they say MD. That doesn't mean anything anymore. Unfortunately, especially bedside manner. Now, I'm going to qualify this real quick. I'm going to get back on topic. So she had a pap smear for all you ladies that understand what the pap smear protocol is. And she gets a call back from her OBGYN, and the OBGYN says, hey, you could have HPV. Okay. Um, HPV, what is human papillomavirus? HPV. You
Couldn't
can
tell you
look that
that.
up. Okay. The women on here probably know what I'm talking about. So they said, okay. And so now they're being proactive, and they said, okay, get in here and let's run some blood work. So they run some blood work, and they said, yep, they identified her in her blood work that she's got two markers. Okay, as they say, two markers that suggested the possibility
Right.
of cancer. Okay, but in order to go this next step, and they're being proactive, so we're very appreciative of all this, especially at early stages of anything. They say, okay, come in, get the biopsy. So she goes right in and has the biopsy done. Now here's the disconnect. They call her back only to tell her 48 hours after the biopsy, we've got your biopsy and we're having it analyzed. But they tell her that, look, if we don't call you the next, if you don't hear if you don't hear back from us, now how long are we supposed to wait till we don't hear back from them, David?
Yeah, that's messed up. I
That's
never
stupid.
believed in that. You
That's
call me and let
stupid.
me know either way. I don't want to wait to know.
Right. And so her mother was listening in on this, and she grabs the phone and says, uh, and Megan, tell them I can talk. So, because of the freaking requirements, you
Right,
got to have
right.
what? You got
Privacy
to
Act and all that
Privacy
grass
Act. And all that.
garbage.
I get all that. Yeah, I get all that. Anyway, the wife goes on and says, no, 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 no. You are going to call back and you're going to let my daughter know one way or the other.
Yep,
And so if my wife is not there and my daughter's just taking these things for granted, as most people tend to do, then
yep,
who knows? Okay. But yes, they did call back. Now, here's where it really gets interesting. This is the 10th of March. Tomorrow is the doctor's day. She got this call back almost 3 weeks ago.
wow.
Now, you're going to tell me that you are telling my 31-year-old daughter, who is in the best of health she's ever been in her life, that there is now not because when they call back, yep, there's a problem. And nope, we're not going to talk to you over the phone. And once again, we say, nah, we're not pulling that crap. Because they said, we're not going to talk on the phone. I said, okay, we'll be there in what, 24, 48 hours, right? No, our next appointment availability was 3 weeks into the future, which is tomorrow.
That's crazy.
I said, wait a minute. So this is your bedside manner,
Right.
you know, cold, calculated, just another number. No, we're not playing with that. So I kept after Megan, and she finally got a nurse on the phone and made them tell her. Obviously, we're going in because we have to go in for the consult. But anyway, yeah. So all I can tell you is that we live in a society right now that you do not take anything at face value until you've done your own research and
Yep,
got a second, a third, or fourth opinion, whatever you need to do to make you feel comfortable. And
exactly.
our opinions will also first and foremost come from God Himself. So that being said, okay, back to what we were here to talk about.
Well, our prayers are with you, sir.
Thank you, David. Thank you, everybody, for the prayers, because that's what we are all about. I've had people come to me and say, "Well, no, you're supposed to be doing training. No, you're supposed to be doing this. No, you're supposed to be doing that." And all I'm going to tell you about that is, like I've been told before, if I don't like the channel, change the station.
Exactly.
Okay. Because there's nobody holding a gun to anybody's head to be here whatsoever.
Well, we're different than all the rest anyway, Bob.
We always have been.
We're extraordinary. This is not a typical raw, get in, listen to
Oh,
a
no, no, no.
speech and get off. And we're totally different. And that's why we are successful like we are. And that's why we've got such big teams, because we are different.
And
And that's
it's no surprise, is it, David and Jeff McVie, that in fact, because my guy, my admin, who is Lou, who's also a pastor of two churches, interestingly enough, does a lot of behind the scenes crunching numbers. And out of the 20,000, I will say 20,000 paid members under my wife, my daughter, my son, and I, over 50% of those people, folks, men and women, are self proclaimed brothers and sisters in Christ. Bottom line. Okay. The numbers don't lie. That's it. So, we are always going to do two things. Well, three things with this business model. First of all, we're always going to take care of the many. And that's how we built it. Kind of a go. We're going to go backwards in time a minute for those that you're brand new, because 9 months ago we didn't have anybody but Gary and I, and a video that one of the master distributors did for the company, des Alpes, and it gave us a suggestion of how to build something very, very special that had never been done before. And what do I mean by that? Typically, in network marketing and MLM companies, you sponsor the world. You first look for, so if you're the owner of the business, you first look for the gurus, because they can bring big chunks of people, and that's what they do. This is they do a their pre-launch is to bring leadership, okay? And their version of leadership are people that can bring hundreds each. Not and there's a ton of people out there that can do that, okay? And there's strategy behind that, and I get it. Okay. But we heard one very, very important clue. And that clue was, you're not going to get paid, but on your very first two people up front. Let me say that again. We're going to pay you. Let me say it in a different way. We're going to pay you, but only up front on your first two people. Okay. This had nothing to do with the fact that part of the way we get paid is because it's a forced matrix and it's a two by structure. So yes, you can only put two people on your first level. Everybody gets that. Thank you, Layla. Everybody gets that part. Okay, but that's not why he said what he said. He said what he said because he was telling the world and the gurus that, hey, look, I don't care that you can sponsor 10, 20, 40, 50, 100, 200 people on your own. What I care about is the fact that the other 98 out of that 100 possibly cannot duplicate what you do. Does that
Yeah,
make sense, David?
that's the key. You got to be able to duplicate.
Right. And so, what do we know? Well, what we know are two things: that 97% of the people in the industry as a whole over the past 50 or 60 years have never made a dime. And the most that any single individual ever could do, no matter what the business was, no matter where the business was maybe bring what they call 2.8 to the game. Okay. That number still exists 50 years later. So when you hear that statement made that you're only going to get paid on your first two people up front, that tells us, that told Gary and I that we are now going to embrace the fact that anybody can find two people. Anybody can bring two people. Right, Dave?
That's exactly right.
Anybody.
If you can't, you're in the wrong business.
Right. So let's face the fact. Let's face facts that, and David is exactly correct. If you can't not convince, if you can't share something very special that you are very excited about, that you not just see the potential, you see the obvious behind the business model, and then you understand the math, then yes, if you cannot share that information with at least a number of people to get your two, and maybe you have to share that with 10 people to get your two. Our numbers have never been any different than, I don't know, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 on any given day. And yes, those are ridiculous numbers when you start looking at the total math, right, Dave?
Well,
And what do we mean ridiculous numbers? Well, the first week when Gary and I first started this, that's all we had, and at the end of the first week we had 100. Now I only brought two. One of those people is right here with us. Amy Carpenter, are you out there?
yep, she's
Amy
here.
Carpenter and my wife. How many did you bring, Dave?
Two people.
Amy, how many people did you start out with? Okay. Give me a three if you started out with just two people. Everybody here, give me a three if you start out with just two people. If you started out with anything more than that, give me a four. Talking about starting out. Right. There you have it. Now, what's the significance of that? Well, the significance is the fact that in the first week, there's 100 people under Gary and I. Right. But because Gary and I only personally brought two people into our community, into our personal matrices, the other 98 came in from who? Where did the other 90? Somebody throw it out there in the chat. Where did the other 98 come from? That's right, Peter. Where did the other 98 people come from? If they didn't come from Gary, if they didn't come from me, where would they have come from? Exactly, Narissa. From all of you. Again, allowing us to confirm two facts, that you can embrace the fact that you can what? You can duplicate by just bringing two people and then teaching those two people to do what? To help them get their two people. That's four. To help them get their two people. That's eight. To help them get their two people. That's 16. To help them get their two people. That's 32. Add them backwards, and there's your first 62. That's your core. And when all 62 of those, now this is the second part, you can go ahead and sponsor 62 people. Only going to pay you up front for two. And the other 60 will catch up to you eventually. Well, if you don't help them like we did, because I could have sponsored 100 people, Gary could sponsor 100 people, David could sponsor 100 people. We got people on here that could sponsor more than that. But that was not going to do what? That wasn't going to help the 97% of the people for the last 50 years to do what? To get into, to make any money. But by reversing this, which was totally unheard of, still is unheard of. Yeah, because why do I say that? Because Gary and I have an attorney working on getting that taken care of. So where we own copyrights and we own trademarks of this. Why? Because we already have company owners that see us coming. There's company owners that have already contacted us that see us coming, and they know that what? That our people are going to be coming for their people. Just simple as that. Why? Because they're network marketers that are not making money. They're MLMers that are not making any money, but yet they continue to do what? They keep giving that money every month, up front, every month. And the owner just says, "Oh man, thank you, David, thank you, Bob, thank you,
Yep.
Amy, thank you, Layla, thank you, John Gabriel, thank you, thank you. Pay me, pay me, pay me." And then I'm going to do what? As the owner, I'm going to pay the top what? 1, 2, or 3% because they sponsored all the people. And then
Right.
what happens to everybody else? What happens to everybody else, Peter, James? What happens to everybody else in that business model? What's been happening for 50 years in that business model? They fall out, but why do they fall out, John Gabriel? I know we're doing training, but I want to get this point across to everybody. Why do they fall out? Because they don't make any money and they can't keep affording giving somebody else that money every month.
Yep.
That is, David, what is that? The definition of what?
Insanity.
To
The
doing
glorious,
what?
the glorious repeat monthly. They call it an
Yeah,
auto
doing
ship.
the same thing. So if you continue to do the same thing over and over and over, and you don't get any different result, how can that not be insanity?
Yep.
And so, what was the other number? What's the other number? 3 months. 2 to 3 months, those people are out and you got to replace them.
And some don't even wait that long. They get out earlier.
Right. Some people, because they say, well, you said that
Hmm.
you would recruit for me, and I don't
Yep.
even I paid my $30 for this past month, but I don't have somebody under
Right.
me yet.
Yep.
Nobody can guarantee. That's what the spillover effect does for you. And again, it's not a ruse. They're everybody that advertises or promotes that way has good intentions, I hope, but the reality of it is it doesn't work.
It
Funnel
don't.
marketing, John Gabriel, 100% correct. Funnel marketing. Now, the sad part is there's still hundreds, if not thousands, of that business model still in existence. That's fixing to change. How do I know that? Well, because I just told you. I've got business owners coming to us wanting us to teach them how to change the way that they're doing business so they don't lose 20,000 people giving them $30 a month.
Yep. And
I
over
mean,
the years, that's
think about
what's
it. Think about it. We are totally disrupting two industries at the same time. Three industries if you count network marketing separate from MLMs. So, network marketing, MLMs, and online shopping. We are totally disrupting the entire industries all at the same time when we go public very, very soon. And if you don't see that, then you haven't been on the Zooms or you haven't watched the replays and you haven't been to training. So I'm not going to go any farther than that. But I wanted some of the new folks that may not understand everything behind what's going on with who we are and who we are not, because it's more important for you all brand new folks that have only been with us not the 9 months, and God bless everybody that's still here with us 9 months later. Okay. But let me qualify that too. I started to a little bit ago. In a startup, and we are a startup. Des Alpes is a startup company. Okay. What does a startup mean? A startup means that they're just starting up. They have not launched to the public. Okay, well, you say, well, Bob, you show that you've got 112,000 people under you. That's correct. But 20,000 of those folks under my wife and I, my daughter and my son are paid members. The other ones are free that started February 1st because we quit taking money as of January 31st so that we could get all these bugs worked out. Okay, so going back to the startup, a startup is going to have ups and downs in it. And a startup never, ever, ever allows more than leadership to be in the startup. Okay, because what in a startup, you have a pre-launch. Okay, that's what we're still in. Then you have a pre-launch, okay, which is coming up next. And what is a pre-launch? That's when we start paying a group of people. Okay, part of the update that we're going to cover is that particular point. Okay, and then from a pre-launch, you go to a soft launch. Okay, what's a soft launch? A soft launch is where you open the door, you kind of pull that door open, and you're looking out there and you go, okay, general public, the general public in the world are now time for you to come in. Now, we have not been doing this with any kind of a free part to it until February 1st. Okay, we kind of messed around with that in the early part, but the owners and the master distributors decided that because we have a one-off, right? We don't have a monthly. So if you didn't know that, there is no monthly out of pocket to participate in this business model. It was a one-off. So 129 bucks. Now, yes, there's going to be some variations to that in the back office for the back office fee because it's $9 a month, or it's going to be 45 for 6 months or 81 for the year. But your investment itself, which 100 of that's going to a training platform that's getting ready, and that's another part of the update we'll talk about in just a second, because that's what you're paying for. No, you're not paying for a mall. You're not paying for a shopping site. You're paying for ongoing training with your $100. The other 20 of that is going into part of the commissions as well. Okay, so yes, the 100 goes commission, 20 goes commission, and then your $9 a month goes for your what? For part of your expenses. Then we all also know that we have expenses, what, every month. Okay, so everybody's got a back office knows that the time's running out. Don't worry about that. Let me bring that up right now. Don't worry about that. Nobody's going to be taking any more money. That'll be reset like we did it a reset not too long ago. Okay, because why? Because we get paid daily and monthly, and we get paid up front first. Okay, again, remember what I told you about the old business model that's still out there. Okay, even if it was a one-off, okay, you still, in the old business model, you have a monthly, period. Okay, because they don't know how to survive without a what? Forced auto ship. Company that I came from out of 7 years, Amy was with me, is one of my, well, she was my leader there, my number one there. We had two forced auto ships, one to keep our rank, and we were both at the top of that company. It took us 4 years, what, Amy, 4 or 5 years to get there. Uh, it does what, I mean, when I say 4 to 5 years, we're talking about the ability to get from making 400 or 500 a month to 1,000 to 2,000 to 5,000 to $10,000 a month. But we didn't even get to do that consistently, even inside that business model. Why? Because it was a universal unilevel, meaning that you're going to go wide. So every time you sponsored somebody, this is the fallacy again. Now, yes, part of ours is a unilevel, so don't misconstrue what I'm saying now. Part of ours is a unilevel, okay? But there's a different purpose behind that, and it's not the only part. So
Right.
in a straight unilevel, okay, just like a straight binary. In a straight binary, my weak leg is 500. Okay, I would only get paid on my weak leg once a month, not daily, not every week, once a month after my 2 auto ships. So I had an auto ship going in for what? For our rank. I was a diamond. Okay, I was a diamond, which is the top of the company. Amy was a diamond, top of the company at the time. She made diamond right about the same time I did, actually. And then we had an auto ship to stay at that rank, automatic, regardless of whether we're using the products or not. It didn't matter. That was a forced auto ship. Okay, then we also had a forced auto ship to get paid. So in my case, I was spending $300 a month. Now, obviously, I was there for 7 years, so I would not have been doing what? I wouldn't be giving these guys 300 a month if I'm not making at least 300 a month or more. So
Right.
obviously, I made a lot more than that, and at times I made a lot more than that. But give and take, including my expenses in advertising and whatnot, it was a wash a lot of times. I had some big months, no doubt about it. Amy had some big months, no doubt about it. Okay, but it wasn't designed for the average person. This is where we're going with all this. Okay, so we have no auto ships. Now, there has been some talk about the fact that we have a prepaid part in the business model that's inside the business model that doesn't force us to do what? Purchase something once a month out of the store or the mall that's coming. Well, we're working on that also, just so you know. Now, okay, what does that mean? Well, so here's the other side of things. In order to be fair, you want to help the many, not just the few, right, David?
Right.
So we flipped the model. So what we showed you earlier was that over 90% of all of our people are ambassadors. That's the designation. Okay. Ambassadors. And they're all in profit, waiting to launch to the public and waiting to get paid. Every single one of those 90%, not 10%, not 30%. And there's only a few companies that can even say, one in particular, it's got 2 million members almost, that can say that 30% of their entire membership are in profit, and they are, and I'm part of that business model. Not 50%, not 90%. Again, a total disruption, a total flip of the entire business model in 2 industries at the same time. Never been done before until now. So, understanding what you've got in your hands is probably not just a blessing, not just I don't know, David, what else would you call it? I just,
Mhm.
it's at times you lose the ability to even explain it, because we went from what, David, from 100 in week 1 to 250 to 500 to 1,000, and then at one point 6 months ago, 6 months ago, no, 4 or 5 months ago, we were at about 2,500 as a collective. Okay, and we thought, good Lord, this is craziness. This is
Mm-hmm.
craziness.
Crazy numbers.
We thought those were crazy numbers. Well, then all of a sudden we were growing at 100 new paid members per day. That jumped to 500 new paid members per day, and that ran all the way through January the 31st of 2024. 500 new paid members per day, and they're all under me,
Unheard of.
and
Hadn't
under
even
Gary,
launched
and
yet.
under David, and under Amy, and under my wife, and there's no, we couldn't, we thought, well, how do we explain this to people? How would you explain it, David?
Difference in the way we do business. We're not the typical company.
Total difference. And people were being drawn to that because, David, here's the obvious question. Did we have a link or a website when we first started?
Oh no,
Did
we,
How
we did
long
not.
was it before we could even talk about the name of the company?
Weeks.
It was actually the
We,
first 2 months.
yep, yep.
The first 2 months, we couldn't even tell you that because they weren't sure. Uh, Jeff McVie, right. So by private invitation on social media or going to your family, friends, and those that you think that you can't reach for whatever reason, it was private invitation only, and we developed two videos. Video number one, that's still the same video that I had designed based on two things: the vision, and the vision is what? That we are going to change people's lives because we're one global community and we change people's lives one day at a time. Now, the mission that developed the video itself very well explains, and we have those videos up and posted now in our platform. And it explains what? It explains who and why. Once you understand who we are attracting and you have your own why, which is paramount, without a why, it doesn't matter how we're going to do it.
Right.
Right, Dave?
Got to know your why.
You have to have a strong enough why, or you will not even care to take the time to do it.
Your
Well,
why will be your motivation.
the
Because if
why
you
is the
don't have
biggest
a,
motivator of all, isn't it?
yeah, it has to be.
And so why? So let's look at that real quick. What is your why, David?
My why, I saw something extraordinary and I got tired of looking at these other opportunities, knowing, going back to that word insanity, that if I kept doing what everybody else is doing, I'm not going to grow. I'm not going to make any money. I'm going to work my tail off. I'm going to be replacing people dropping out that don't want to work, that aren't making money. That was my first why. And the second why is because I want to leave a legacy to my grandkids and to my family.
Ah, there it is. There it is.
Yeah,
I,
because
there's an analogy out there that I've always used, and this analogy is about people that are multimillionaires. And why do I pick people who are multimillionaires? It has nothing to do with the amount of money that they've made because they have a craft. You know, Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood are well known performers, entertainers, but there's something very, very, very interesting about them that you have to understand. Okay, they they retired for about 5 years. They come off the road for about 5 years, and Garth was interviewed. I've I've not personally got to meet Garth yet, but I will. They're right here in Oklahoma. They've got a ranch here in Oklahoma. Garth actually graduated from Oklahoma State University, where my daughter did. He started out playing. He didn't even know how to play guitar. Couldn't sing a lick, but was playing bars just to make some extra money. And this guy, some guy, I don't know his name. It's easy enough to Google. Who actually found Garth and saw something in Garth that Garth didn't know that he had in him. And so that started Garth's just explosive fame as an entertainer. And he's won Entertainer of the Year, I don't know how many times. Okay. But the long story short is the guy that's interviewing Garth and Trisha say, well, why did you take 5 years? Again, you heard that what? Why? Why did you take 5 years off the road? And it was not because they couldn't afford to, okay, at that point, because but they were on the road all those years to do what, David? To develop generational wealth.
Yep.
Okay, so then they said, okay, his kids, their kids were at the age where they were all involved in sports, and Garth and Trisha were missing out on all that. Give me a
Yep.
two if you understand why you want to be involved in your children's life or somebody's life that you can't do it right now because you're what? You're working 60, 70 hours a week, or you're working two jobs, or you're working overtime like Amy's been working overtime for 5 years. 5 years of working overtime for what? To pay
Yep.
the government. She finally figured out, we figured out together that she'd been giving the government more money than they were actually giving her working the overtime because she needed the extra money. Now, how crazy is that?
Insanity.
But she
Going back
didn't
to
know
that
that.
word.
They knew it.
No. Yeah.
And her boss, her boss gets all high and mighty with her. What do you mean you're not going to work overtime anymore? Well, guess what? Guess what Trump and Elon Musk is doing? Ooh, guess what's going away real quick, regardless? All that overtime is
Yep.
going to go away once they get through doing what they're doing. But anyway, that's a different story. The story is very clear, and it's in the message of the video of the mission. Because what we're doing to help people is to get them off of overtime, get rid of that second job. These are baby steps. We are not going to do all of this at one time. My wife and I retired. We're retired debt free. David's debt free. But we didn't do that overnight. We didn't do it in a week, didn't do it in a few months. That was a plan. And that plan was put in force because of our why.
Yep.
And it didn't involve only a job. Yeah, I had a side gig, as I called them, for all these years in order to do what? I retired my wife first, 4 years before I retired. Then I retired, and then the following year, we were able to retire completely debt free, which we are still today.
Here's a golden nugget. Plan your work, work your plan, or your plan won't work.
There
You
you
got to have a
go.
plan. You got to have a plan.
Yeah, and what we're doing now includes a plan. And it's not a fly by night plan. It's like, well, I'm going to try it. Nope. Nope. There ain't no trying. There ain't no, well, you know what? This may not work. You're right. What if, what if, what if, what if, what if,
What you say is what you get a lot of times.
you know?
You
But,
don't think it's going to work, you're right. It ain't,
right.
because that's your
And
mindset.
the long story short is they told the interviewer that they had to come off the road and that yes, they don't, the only thing they get paid is royalties. And that's if somebody buys their stuff. Their money
Right.
does not come from royalties. That is what? That is residual income that they're getting. Okay, even at that point in their lives, that residual income was not doing what? Was not being able to provide the lifestyle that they were living and providing for their children. But they said, screw that. We're going to take 5 years off and we're going to get them out of high school and into college. That was their why. They
Yep.
did it in, okay, the real world, and they weren't lucky. They were blessed with what? With skill sets that they were given by God. And they developed those skill sets and turned that into an income that turned into what? The ability to become debt free. And then the next phase was to set up, and as Garth Brooks out of his own mouth told the story, that his children's children's children will never, ever want for the rest of their lives. Period. That's my why. That's my wife's why. That's my 31-year-old daughter's why. That's my 34-year-old son's why. because they are not married yet. They don't have any kids yet. They're establishing themselves in their own career paths. And this business model is part of it. And they see the value. My wife has never been involved in anything I've ever done. My daughter didn't have the time. My son is a self-accomplished day trader, self-taught for 7 years. He took $500 and turned that into a $70,000 trading account. But he still works a part-time job. And he's also just turned pro at disc golf here in Oklahoma. He just went to his first tournament. Why? Because he wanted it bad enough that he was willing to do what? Sacrifice some amount of an investment and some amount of consistent time in order to do what, David? To learn.
To fulfill their dream.
To learn so they can accomplish the dream.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go over. We're coming up on the top of the hour, so let's go over what we know in that 11 minutes. Okay, so first of all, Gary and I will never take any credit for things, but I will absolutely tell you that we are very, very close in working with Danielle Dalpay, who's the president of des Alpes. We are very close at working with Denis Drapeau, who is he's probably the top admin now. And they just hired a new admin person that's going to be working directly with programming and also the IT department, which they needed. And this guy comes very, very, very well qualified in those two industries alone. Okay, so they're doing what needed to be done. That also included bringing on. They had interviewed 3 different teams of software engineers, not just day-by-day programmers. No, they interviewed 3 teams: one in Quebec, one in Pakistan, and one in India. 3 separate teams. The team in India won the contract. They started a couple of weeks ago. They are all over this now, and they've got people specifically in specific areas of the company that is setting up everything that needs to be done. Because we had one programmer, Tony, I love him to death, but he couldn't do it all. No way he could ever do it all. They tried their hardest. Why? Because they are not multimillionaires. They are people just like us, and they are in the business. What you all have to understand is these same people that are not taking money from us every month, that are not going to force us to have an auto ship, that are paying anywhere from 80 to 90 something percent back to the entire community around the world. They are in the business, just like David, just like me,
Like
just like
us.
Gary, just like Daniel, just like Jeff, just like Danny. They are in the business. You have to understand the significance of this. Again, a total flip, maybe even a 360 if you
Yep.
look at it, David.
Yep.
You look at the totality of all of this, right? And for what? Because their families got burnt to a crisp in crypto MLMs over the last 20 years. Or they would have been very wealthy people. And maybe all of this had to happen to get them to this point, because this just didn't happen 9 months ago. For those of you that don't know, the story is 7 years ago, Danielle Dalpay and his business partner, Claude, who I've not yet met, but have many long conversations with, brilliant guy, came up with this concept based on the things that had happened to them, their families, and close personal friends over the last 20 to 30 years in this entire industry. And what we're talking about is getting burnt
Yep.
over and over again by somebody else's. And then if they didn't get burnt, they didn't get to make the kind of money they wanted to make. For what? Their why. They want to
I,
have generational wealth created for who? their families, their children's children. Okay. This isn't about being able to be the biggest person on the planet. This isn't about that they want Elon Musk type of money. Okay. And I don't blame Elon Musk. I know about Elon Musk's journey as a child. From the time he's 12 years old, there's just a tremendous story about this. But anyway, they wanted the same things that Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood wanted. They want the same things that I want. Because I told my wife 20 years ago, this started over 20 years ago when I first started getting serious about wanting to do what? I wanted us to be able to retire debt free, and then travel the world if we wanted to. We are that close to phase 2 because we've done everything else. We don't owe any money on our properties. We don't have any car payments. We have a couple of credit cards that we use, and I teach how to use, it's called OPM, other people's money.
Other people's moolah.
Right. You use other people's money. You don't use your money. But by the way, billionaires, they actually live off of borrowed money.
Yep.
Yes, they do. Well, wait a minute. Why would they be borrowed money? Well, there's a lot of tax purposes in the United States tax code, okay, which is another training for future. When a lot of the folks that are on this call right now are going to start making, 500 a month, 1,000 a month, 2,000 a month, because here's what you don't know. What you don't know is, because we haven't launched to the public, there are literally thousands. I can tell you right now, yes, my wife and I have 112,000 people in our community. 20,000 of them are paid. The other are still free for now. About 5,000 of that free are not free. Actually, they paid their $45 and are waiting for the 120 button to come in, which is coming. Okay. And we'll get those people caught up. And then, so now let's get into the updates. So part of the updates was the fact that the team from India has got a 4th server spun up. Okay. So we've got 4 servers, one for the cloud, one for the back office, because the back office that you see right now is not going to be the back office that we end up having. Okay. And by possibly tomorrow, we should start seeing part of that upgrade coming, and we'll start seeing the training that we paid for already. Okay. So all the people that have been naysayers and haters about, well, wait a minute, you guys, 4 months ago, you paid for training that you haven't got yet. Well, that's not true in reality. If you didn't come to training that we do for free, I can't help you. If you didn't watch training replays and apply, I can't help you. But there's actually going to be live or recorded training modules on an ongoing basis, month after month, provided by the company. Okay, so yes, the $100, I just say the 120 just to make it just, the even money. Okay.
Simplify.
Right, simplify, because it all goes into the compensation plan except for the 100. The 100 goes directly to your first 2 people, just like your second level. They're getting their 100 from, and so on and so forth. And as they're moving up, okay, this is why we built it the way we built it. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. Okay, so as each one of these levels we're paying in, okay, that means they're catching up to us, pushing you up each level. Okay, that's where you're getting paid the $100 then. Okay, we didn't have all the information when we first started this, unfortunately, but we do now. So we understand how that works and what the numbers show. Okay, but part of the update was the fact that the training's coming. They were trying to get it entered today. I don't think it's going to be entered today. We'll probably start seeing some of that tomorrow. Okay, there's another update coming Wednesday night. They're not doing business presentations right now, just like we're not. So there's another update going to come Wednesday night. Gary and I have a meeting with them tomorrow. Matter of fact, that was the text that I just got. Gary and I will be meeting with them prior to that update. Okay. Because we met prior to this update that you just saw, that 11-minute update. So part of that update was the fact that we have been working with them to get the team of India involved in helping getting that training module first in there. Okay, so we can get rid of all that garbage talk about paying for something. It's not a secret that everybody that's paid in has paid in, and we've had a back office, and that was the $45. Okay, and we know from the business presentations that training was paying for the 100. They might as well just said the 120 for that matter. Okay, but that's part of the reason why we've been doing ongoing free training. My people and I, because we wanted to provide that, and we've been providing that what every week for over 8 months now, David.
At least,
Every week.
yeah.
And the training that we're providing is nothing that you're going to get for free anywhere. Anywhere. Matter of fact, as an example, I have some people that have come to me before this project, and I still have them as clients, and I charge them $100. Okay, now it doesn't matter if they're with me for a day or they're with me for a month. They get the training, and then I let them go once they get to a certain point, and that's a pretty fair deal. But for all the members that are with us, we do this for free. Okay, Gary and Patrick get paid hundreds and thousands of dollars for product development that Gary's been doing free training on for the last 8 months. Okay. Rick gets paid somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 every month for free, and he gave a free synopsis of what you would do, and he could charge $1,000 for that information. I know that he can. Okay. Well, our pastor Lou is also has a side gig with one of the biggest guys on the planet, Wayne Crow, who I know personally, that does webinars, and they're product developers. And they laugh. They said, "You guys are crazy." Some of those people that Wayne Crow runs with says, "You guys are crazy. You're just giving away hundreds, thousands of dollars." Yes, we are. But we're doing it for a very specific reason. And
Yep.
everybody that's been with us, David, you know why we're doing it. Because we're helping you develop a funnel, okay, so that you can reach out to people and just offer them a chance to come get free training for branding themselves or learning that you don't sell what on a product. You don't sell the
Features,
details of the product. You sell the benefits
benefits.
of a product. Okay. That right there, I could have charged you $25 for just that one statement. And you say, well, I knew that. Well, I'm going to tell you 50% of the people on this planet don't know that. Because if they did, then they're the definition of insanity. They're selling the features, throwing their link out there. You see them all the time. You know who I'm talking about. You see them all the time. They're selling features. Features do not sell a product. You have to be a product of the products. How do I get 30 and 40 people asking me for my link to my product line? It's on my wall. They don't even ask me. They just click it. I know that because I've got Facebook Pro. It tells me every time somebody clicks on any of my links, what links they're clicking on. And I know why they're clicking on it, because they see my posts. And in my Facebook posts, I have my journey where I've lost almost 70 pounds now in the last 8 months, inches, but I've got my strength and I'm not working out. I'm not lifting weights yet. I'm 68 years old. And I've been told I'm a heart patient, 68 years old. I got no business going into the gym. Well, guess what? That's not stopping me, because I've got 12 more pounds and I will be back in the gym because I have a free membership through Humana. And I will start lifting weights again. And I'm taking products that help save the lean muscle mass, give me more energy, and you're going to get that when you're losing weight properly and then keeping it off. I have never, ever promoted a product ever in my life. Ask Amy. We had a lot of products. I never promoted them because they didn't really work for me. And I can't promote a product would work. And the only way to promote a product that works is to show the proof,
Right.
right? Same thing with
Product of the
this.
product.
Same thing with this. There's a lot of you right now say, well, I got all kinds of people that say, show me. There's no reason for somebody to not come and test the waters for free. So since February 1st, it's been 28 days plus 10. Everybody's had an opportunity to reach. I mean, how many people can you say, hey, do you what? Do you shop
Do
online?
you shop online?
Very simply put, do you shop online? That's a yes or a no. 90% of the people that you ask that question to are going to say, yes, they do. How would you like to get paid very well for it? And they're going to say, well, tell me more. What else are they going to say? Okay. And just those two simple things. And you say, hey, I'm not qualified to tell you about it. And see, when you say it like that, then they go, it gets right in the back of their mind and go, oh, wait a minute. That's going to be me too. So I know that I could come somewhere and get free training to learn how to do what you're doing, because that is duplicatable. You're not, I'm not, David's not duplicatable. A process that works. We've got the same process we've been using for how long, David? 8 months?
At least that, yeah.
Eight
Since day
months, and
one.
it's been working. 9 out of 10 people that I get on the phone with. See, if you do the process and you start the conversation with that, and then you say, hey, I'm going to send you my first video, which is the mission video. And it's going to tell you two things: who we intend to help and why. And I have a second video, but I'm not going to send it to you until you come back to me and you ask for it. And
Right.
they're gonna jump out there and they're gonna say, well, why would you do it that way? Because it's very simple, David. If you don't understand who we want to help and why we want to help them, which is you to start with, then the how we're going to do it, does that make any sense to even care about?
Well, when you watch a movie, you don't watch part two if it has a part two before you watch part one, because you'll be so lost you won't know what's going on. Right?
Right. And if you don't have a why, then I don't want you to waste my time or your time with how the vehicle works, because it's not going to matter to you.
Right.
Simple stuff. Simple stuff, guys. Okay. So, real quick now, we just talked about the training. They're working on getting that in the office, your back office. Go to your back office. Okay. Even free, you have a back office. Go to your back office and check every day, once a day, on what's going on back there. Go through your menu so you can understand. Forget about the crypto side of this for now. Unless you're a crypto person and you can set up your crypto, you can already have your crypto wallet set up. Okay. And that's a side thing. I don't care about crypto. That's just me. Okay. We're going to get paid in US dollars. In the United States, we have ACH direct deposit. A bunch of us already have our debit cards. I have a virtual debit card in my back office, which everybody will be getting once you got through KYC. If you have not, give me a one if you have not got through KYC. Is there anybody that has not been confirmed on KYC yet? I don't know anything about the crypto stuff, John Gabriel. I guarantee you that Gary and Patrick and them, they know about that stuff.
That's only if you want to be paid in crypto.
Yeah.
It's not a requirement.
Okay.
And
So
that's the
Michael,
reason they set it up, is because of international. There's a lot of folks that don't have a bank
yeah,
debit card.
right.
So
So
they set it up internationally to accept the Bitcoin or the crypto coin. It's not Bitcoin. It's USDT.
US for right now, it's USDT and USDC on the BEP20 network,
Yes.
not Tron. Okay. USDT Tron is going to go bye-bye. Matter of fact, Tether in Europe, what little I can tell you about it is they're getting slammed by governments and they're getting shut down. So stay away from USDT on the Tron
Wrong.
20 network. Stay away from that. Okay. So yeah, you're in the US, right, John Gabriel? So you'll have your debit card, and it's not free. $9.95. It will be taken out of your profits. Okay. And before you jump out to, I don't, well, you're already in profit. Okay. If you're on this call, you're an ambassador, which means you have your first two. Now, those of you who don't have one or two, that's a different story. Okay.
Right.
So what I don't have time to get into that. Go and watch. We've got a 30-minute video that Denis Drapeau does that explains all of that. Okay, so we don't have time for that. So yeah, so the training's going in there. The next thing, and these what you heard on that call was a culmination of 2 hours of conversation that Gary and I had with them. So getting the training in there was part of that conversation. The next part of that conversation that you heard was the testing. And yes, there's going to be testing, and they're going to test the first 5,000. Now, I came up with that number specifically because, well, there's 3 master distributors above us and 5 levels above Gary and I with Donnie. Okay, so that's going to take up about 2,000 people. We know that from the programmer. I already knew, okay, because I have a relationship with the programmer too. So it's good to know people. And then the 3,000 are obviously starting with me down. Okay, so that's the test that's coming. Now that is being worked on, and everybody pray, pray, pray collectively. And I say pray because we've had this that we've tried to pay, and I'm gonna tell on myself now. We were supposed to get paid February the 3rd, and I shut it down. I did. And I'm going to tell you why I shut it down. I saw that it was going to be totally wrong. It was going to be totally wrong. There was some missing parts that they were not taken into consideration. And thank you, Father, that we have the relationship that we have with the ownership, because they're not just hearing us, they're listening very intently to us. And so they did not come up with the number 5,000. Gary and I did, but they listen and they are applying what they're learning from us. They know that we know that they have to have that training in the back office. So because it's part of what? Compliance. Compliance. We have to be legal in 160 countries, not just Canada and the United States. And we were not legal in the United States without that training in the back office because we've paid for it. Okay.
Right.
Yes, you're going to get leeway. Nobody's going to jump out there. Yes, we know the attorneys involved that would get involved. We know all these things. Okay. And let me qualify this real. 90% of you would not be involved in this at all yet, had they decided to do what people normally do, and that's to start with the first 2 levels. They would have had Gary's first 2 levels, my first 2 levels, and that would have been it until we tested the payment system, which we're getting ready to do. And then we would have gone into a soft launch and start bringing in our rest of our leadership and then allowing them. We would have still done it because we built this all on paper. We had it all on paper before we ever got a link. It was 4 months before we even got our links. And we didn't know if this was going to work, even when we got our links, because it had to what? It had to work exactly like we had it on paper.
Yep.
And
It had to
thank
flow
God,
like a
David.
river.
Thank God, right, David?
Yes, sir.
And then we did test the system, and it worked because the timestamp is everything.
Yes.
Timestamp is the legal part of where are you at in a matrix. It's based on when, not when you paid the
Uh,
$45. It's based on when you
right.
paid. When you first
When you
joined.
first
Okay.
signed up.
And
Yes.
nobody joined. And this is how we did it, right, Dave? I got my
Yep.
link from Gary, remember?
Right.
And I signed up. That ties me directly to Gary. Then I gave my link to my first two people. I gave it to my wife, gave it to Amy, and they signed up. And then my link was done. And we held that true to form all the way down through our personal 5 levels deep, all of us, when we first started. And that exploded, folks. That exploded to now 112,000 people underneath me, underneath my wife, underneath part of Amy, underneath. Matter of fact, David, what do you have underneath you right now?
I just hit 26,000 this morning.
26,000.
26,000 people this morning. It's probably
And
27 now
my wife,
because it's growing so fast.
where my wife is, she has the whole team of India under her left leg, and she has the whole team of Asia under her right leg. And my daughter has the whole team of Asia under her as well. And my son came in 4 months later, but he will catch up because I am building his legacy, and I'm not done with it yet. So 5,000, that number came from us. And I don't tell you these things to brag to you or try to impress any of you here. I tell you these things because it's important to note the relationship that we've been building for the last 8 months, first of all, and the fact that they're not just hearing us, they're applying what we're suggesting. And we know that these things are working. And so now we know that we're moving from where we are, from where we were to where we are. And now we've got the programmers, the system engineers that have back engineered the entire code. And now we've got extra servers. So now we're going to have powerful enough server capacity to handle 1 million people, because we will have 1 million people in the first 12 months that we go public. Folks, those people that are sitting free, they're not free. They're just waiting to pay in. They're not tire kickers. All these people that have come to this point, there's not a tire kicker among them. And you're going to get 30. By the time that we say go with the green light, when we start paying the 5,000, we get to the 5,000, we get to that plateau, 5,000, then all hell is going to break loose. Why? Because then the free people get to start paying in. Then the 120 people get to get paid in. Now they're all timestamped, so nobody's going to lose their spot. Even you people that are free, you are timestamped where you are. But there's not going to be a free spot. So you're going to have 30 days. You're going to get 30 days to get your first one. 30 days.
Yep.
Okay. Now, what if you don't? Well, then you get to start over. Okay. Now, we're not going to compress you out except during pay runs, because we get paid daily. We pay our expenses at the end of the month or the middle of
Right.
the month, not the first of the month. We get paid. You see the difference? Give me a 3 if you see the difference, if you're following what we're saying here. Give us a 3. Spill the juice.
Yep. You don't lose your position.
No, no.
You just skips you on the commissions if you don't. But
Now,
you'll always have that position.
another little thing that came out was a recommendation that I've had for a minute, that they're going to get Google Translator in there. It's a pretty simple widget, but it's a very important one. Okay, and why is that important? Well, it's important because yes, the fact that we're in almost 70 countries. David and our team is in. I'm not talking to what we're talking to you about has nothing to do with the company. The 112,000 are under my wife and I and my family. Okay, the company has about 120,000 total. We have the majority, and we will always have it, just
Yep.
like we started out, okay? Because we exploded. At one point, we were bringing in 5,000 people a day, and it only slowed. It's still 2,000 people a day right now. 2,000 people a day, and we're not even launched to the public yet. That's how big a deal this is. And for anybody to sit there and say, "Well, I don't know who to talk to," please, please don't tell me that. You really don't want me to talk to you. You don't want David to talk
Follow
to you either.
follow around an Amazon truck in your neighborhood, and then whenever they stop to deliver a package, you see somebody in the front yard, go up and ask them,
Yeah,
"Hey, I noticed you shop
get your
online.
business cards.
Here's your card, man. You
Okay.
ought to check this out."
And why real quick, why do I say this is not network marketing or MLM when Bob, clearly we get paid from the structures. You are absolutely correct. That is the only component there is, because I can tell you that right now I'm very close to the possibility of adding PayPal. Why? PayPal does not do any business with MLM or network marketing companies, but
Right.
they know first and foremost we are online shopping. That is your niche. Your niche is not a 2x20 force matrix. That is a structure on how you get part of your pay. The unilevel is a structure on part of how you're getting paid. That's it. That's the only reason it's there. So we have the opportunity to not just make a couple of bucks. How big do you want to get? Well, how big can you dream? Did I ever think, or my wife or my daughter, my son ever think in their wildest dreams that we would have over 100,000 customers and actually customer members in 60 countries in 9 months? No,
Absolutely not.
no, no. But yet we do. We do. We absolutely do. And the only reason is because it's been time for this. Just
Yep.
like when Live Good launched 2 years ago, it was time for Live Good and the nutritional supplement business to get whacked. And that's exactly
Yep.
what Ben Galinsky did. He whacked them, and he's still whacking them.
Yep. It's never been done before on that model ever.
And the companies that are still trying to use the old business model are falling. USANA has gone down, lost 30% of their value. I can name
Yep.
company after company after company, and they're
Yep.
all going to crumble. They don't have a chance. As long as Ben stays in that niche, if he ever gets out of that niche and starts doing other things, God, I'm just telling you. But here's what you've got. You don't have a money grab. Okay, what's a money grab? A money grab is just, okay, I'm going to put money in. You're going to throw a little training in there for me to be legal. Okay, yes, that makes it legal, but you've got something in return for what you've invested your money in, even though it's a one-off out of your pocket, ever.
Right.
Okay, granted. But now we're talking about, now we're debt free in the business. Why? Because you don't have to spend money on advertising. How much money have I spent on advertising, David?
Zero.
Zero. Not one penny. Yes, I've spent my time. When I got my first two, then that first week, after that first week, I didn't even talk to anybody anymore. Matter of fact, if you go look at my profile, you're just now seeing 8 months later that I'm even promoting the business at all. And that's just because of my son. It ain't got nothing to do with me. Nobody will ever get my link again, ever. I can use it now. And once you get your first 5 levels completed, that's your core, then we're suggesting to you, go for it. If you can bring in more, go for it. Why? Because your next part is your unilevel, and you're
Yep.
going to get paid on however many you got across the top of that unilevel and whatever they do. So if they do $1,000 in business, just look at your first two. $1,000 when they do before they do 1,000, they're going to do 500 in business. Before they do 500, they're going to do 250 in business, and these numbers will start climbing because all these people. I can't begin to tell you how many people are just sitting out there waiting for us to start getting paid, and then they're all coming.
Yep.
You think you've seen something? You ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing yet. I'm just telling
Y'all
you.
hadn't dropped yet.
You ain't seen nothing yet. We will cross 1 million people within 12 months after we launch
Oh,
to
the
the
way we're
public.
growing now, it'll be over that. The way we're
Well,
growing now, in my
well,
opinion.
Gary and I believe because of where we're at right now, we'll see it in 6 months, maybe 90 days. That's
Very exciting.
a big jump. But let me just tell you, the owners of this company thought that it would take 90 days for us to get to our first 15,000 paid members.
Yeah.
15,000. We had 15,000 paid members in our first 6 months.
We wasn't even going to do them all until that point.
That's right. There was no mall. There
No
was no
malls.
store. Okay, speaking to that real quick. The mall is not the store if you've been seeing the link that's out there. Okay, but the link that's out there is what we're starting with, and that is a store. When I say store, it's a store. It's got because the store's got it's just like going to Walmart. Okay, that's what you've got. Okay, it is an Amazon kind of 2.0 thing because what we thought we were going to start with like 200 or 300. If you go to the store link right now and add up the categories, there's over 1,000 products already coded. 1,000 different products already coded. We'll probably have 2 to 3,000 by the time we launch to the public. Okay, that's phase one. That is not the mall. The mall is going to have stores. Just like when you get in your car and you go drive to your local mall, indoors or outdoors, doesn't matter. They have stores, and each store has their own product line or their own services, like AT&T, right? You're going to get to do that in your local. So, like, I live here in Tulsa. Jeff and I live here in Tulsa. David lives in Oklahoma City. He's going to be able to go to business people and extend their reach. What do you mean, Bob? Well, because when you go to a business person, it's a very simple question you're going to ask them. Hey, are you making all the money you want to make in your retail store here? And you smile. And there will be some people that say, yeah, I don't have time to make any more money. I got to laugh at that because there's not going to be anybody that's going to tell you that. They're going to say one thing to you. Who the hell are you and what the hell are you talking about?
Yep.
And
How?
if they know you, that's the ones you want to go to first. Why? Because they know you and they can trust you and they will do what, David?
They will meet with you and
They will
sign the dotted
they will meet
line.
with you and then they will meet with me or they will meet with one of the admins and we will have us a conversation and we'll see if they're going to be able to put a commission inside their profit margin. If they can adjust their profit margin. Now, some may not want to do this because we're not going to be for everybody, but I'm going to tell you something. Everybody that wants to extend their reach, every single person I've already talked to are waiting for me. They're waiting for me. I've got people, I got people in the banking industry right here in Glenpool at Arvest Bank. You know who Arvest Bank is, David.
Yep.
The general manager of the newest Arvest Bank has called me 3 times.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yes. Yes. They want to collaborate.
And we've not even mentioned the Groupon coupon setup.
Oh, no, no. See, because
That's
tell them
another
about
30
that, David.
minutes.
You can tell them about Groupon.
Well, people, I'm sure a lot of you remember Groupon or whatever. And we're going to kind of have the same setup that you can take local to those shops that Bob's talking about and get their products involved. And then we'll get those coupons as well that we can actually save even more money from what we're already going to be saving in our own store.
Yeah, just can you imagine that you'll have digital coupons, and
Yep.
everybody knows what a digital coupon is. That's no secret. They're
Right.
used all the time, right, Dave?
Yep.
And
And
your
it'll have
link, your
your link
link,
attached
your
to it.
your hard-coded link that ties everything together for you, is going to be embedded in those coupons. How many coupons can you give out?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, what, 10, 20, 100,000? Restaurants. Restaurants want to extend their reach. Now you say, well, wait a minute, Bob. Now mom and pops, maybe not, but wait, I'm going to put my mall in Glenpool. I've already talked to the mayor of Glenpool. I've already talked to what? Every freaking city, every town of any size, not just has a mayor, they have a city manager. And they also have what? They have a person that's involved in what? Developing new business. Well, guess what's coming to Glenpool, Oklahoma? Global Builders, Global Legacy Builders is coming to Glenpool, Oklahoma, first of all, and my mall and Jeff's mall. Well,
Sweet.
how can we both do it? Well, it's pretty simple. It's just pretty simple. We all have different connections. We all will build different connections. And so you will actually, and everybody's going to say, hey, isn't that new mall that's under construction? And you're going to say, absolutely. It is under construction.
Yeah.
And where's it going to be? It's going to be online, and it's going to be available to 160 countries internationally, not just here locally. Thank you very much.
No parking lot required.
Can you imagine? Give me a 5 if you could imagine now what you have in your hands that you may not even have realized. Give me a 5. Yeah, it's a drop the mic moment.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. It's a drop the mic moment. Yeah, 4 5s. That's right, Amy. 4 5s. So really what it comes down to is, what are you willing to do to take your why, put your dream together, and in your business plan comes with it. Now, why do we do the training? Because 90% of the people that want to start a business know nothing about running a business. And I'm not talking about marketing your link. We don't even do that. We don't market any links. Now, unless you're doing email marketing and you have and if when we're talking about links, first of all, do yourself a favor. Do not promote your affiliate link anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Especially on Facebook. Never promote an affiliate link. What you're going to do is you're going to get your own domain. Okay. This is you branding you. Now you will use your affiliate link to get your first 2. And then if you follow our teaching, you'll learn the rest. Okay. Now, how long is it going to take? How long is it going to take for me, Bob, to get 500 a month, 1,000, 10,000? I don't know. How long is it going to take you? Am I going to guarantee? I'm not going to guarantee you anything. I'm not going to guarantee that you'll make one red penny outside of the fact that you're already what? You're already in
Already in
profit.
profit.
We guaranteed that if you followed what we taught you to do and just get your first 2 people, that you would be in profit. And now you know that you are. Whether you do anything else with that business or not, you're in profit. Why? Because you'll never have to dip into your pocket again. Now, that doesn't mean that you're making 500 a month yet, or 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000 or 10,000. You have to learn how to run a business. That's what the training's for. That's what all the training is for. And how does that work? Well, it works because your why's strong enough that drives you to do what? To learn what you have to learn to do it. And either you learn or you don't. And do you have to come to our training? Nope. If you, if there's people out there, to be perfectly honest with you, that, I mean, how am I going to put this? I'm going to make it real simple for you. That want to keep the separation of church and state, then you don't want to come to anything that I'm doing. And I love you. I love y'all just the same. Like I said, we do it very differently in a lot of different aspects. And the one thing that I will tell you 110% of is that I give everything that I am to God first, to my family second, and then to my business partner, Gary Afron, and to my leadership, which includes David Gwynn and Amy and all of the leaders that I have. I've got so many, I don't even know them all.
The ones that show will be the ones that grow.
It's really simple because people look at us and they say, "Oh, well, you all had that connection." Okay, I'm going to tell you two things about reach and connections. I've got 40 years on most of you here. So you damn right. I've got more reach and I've got more connections that I've built. I earned it. If you're just getting started, God bless you. But you got to learn. And it's
Yep.
not going to be overnight, and it ain't going to be next week, and it may not be next month. So all of this BS that you're getting fed, spoon fed, that you're going to invest X number of dollars into your business, and then you're going to start making $10,000 in 30 days is pretty much BS. Now, granted, it will happen for a number of folks in this organization because of where we started almost 9 months ago and where we are at today. So literally 90% of everybody here is some form or some amount of time behind me, behind my wife, behind my daughter, behind David, behind Jeff McBee, behind Daniel LaCroix, and that's it. My son's 4 months. My son is 4 months behind my daughter. It's that simple. It's not a matter of if he's going to be successful. It's a matter of when the level of success that he wants comes. Listen to what I just said. It's not a matter of if you're going to be successful because you're already in profit. It's a matter of what you're going to do with the time that you have that's going to determine when you're going to get to the level of success that you want. And you're going to do two things. You're going to understand the reality of this, and you're going to apply yourself to get to the reality of what you want your reality to be. And you say, well, that sounds pretty simple. Well, yes, it is. But I tell you what's not simple. What's not simple is the fact that we all have what, Dave? We all have life that we live. And there's only so many hours in the day. Time management. I've got a post about time management. All kinds of studies have been done about time management.
It'll control you if you don't control it.
Yeah, if you don't manage your time is going to manage you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right. Anybody else got some questions? We're going to wrap this up right now. Anybody got a question? And it's got to just be a question of current things. And if it's a question about the VIP or members or anything like that, you'll have to hold that for Thursday night training. So anybody got any other questions about this week? So just remember, if you have not seen, if you're not in our platform, which is our communications and training platform, give us a 1. And you want to be. We'll put the link back out there. If you're not already on our communications and training platform, because this is not Facebook. So if you're on Facebook groups, you don't leave your Facebook group. If you're in a WhatsApp group, if you're in a Telegram group, we're not asking you. to leave. Okay, so I'm going to put the link out there again for that. Okay, globallegacybuilders.net. Once we get in there, you can get your own link, but you cannot come in that group free right now. That's for paid members only. So there's a lot of groups that allow you to come in for free right now. But again, if you're on a Facebook group, we're not asking you to leave any groups that you're already connected to. But what we're doing is we're trying to consolidate so we have a platform that we can do communication and training to tens and hundreds of thousands of people, literally.
This is where the enchilada's at.
Yeah, that's part of the whole enchilada.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Let's see. David, you got anything left?
No, I just appreciate everybody taking the time out of their schedule today to show up and come to this. You never know what you're going to get until you show
Daniel,
up because we
unmute over
love.
there, buddy. Daniel, are you there? Can you unmute?
Hi, Bob.
Hey, introduce yourself and let everybody know what you're working on for us.
Yeah, well, I am. Wait, let me. I was doing other stuff. Let me see. Video. Oh, I don't have video. Well, no, I'm Daniel. I am working on some, or I have been working on translating videos into almost 40 languages. And yeah, I guess everybody knows that by now. So that's what I'm
Maybe
working
some
on.
don't.
Sorry?
Maybe some don't, because there's some people that have never been here before.
Yeah, that's true. So that's that's my job at the moment for the team, and what I'm working on. I'm building on my team at the moment. So, and they're all desperately waiting also for the moment that we going live. So it's an exciting time.
Yeah, Danielle's pretty reserved. Danielle is one of our two admins. Lou Hornberger is one of our other admins who helps us run the Zoom platform and our Go High Level platform. And Danielle, as an admin for us, is doing some work that is very, very, very important. The translation of our videos into foreign languages. How many foreign languages do we have now, Danielle?
Yeah, almost 40, I think. We have it and the why we have translated in 40 languages, the how we have translated in 40 languages, and um, the official presentation from Denise we have translated in 40 languages. And
Excellent.
well, at the moment I'm working on some. You don't know that yet, Bob. I'm working on some common questions what people have when I talk to them. I'm making some. I'm making them available too in all languages. Just some questions about what is a member and what is a VIP and what does it mean and what is network marketing. Just the basic concept of the yeah, terminology that's used by Denise in the presentations, which normal people are not aware of. I try to explain them in just simple words, and those are going to be translated as well in all languages. So that's coming if
Excellent.
approved by Bob and Gary, of course. But I just went ahead.
Yeah, no, we know how important what you are doing. Daniel and David are also part of our senior leadership team, and the senior leadership team is a very integral part of this entire organization because you cannot, even though we've got less than 30,000 paid members, we still have 20 something thousand paid members in the 112,000 number right now, and you cannot manage that with just a couple of people. So we have brilliant, brilliant leadership at the top level, which is the senior leadership team. And as we continue to grow, our senior leadership team continues to grow. We added a couple of new folks already. We got one of our first female senior leaders, Marina, involved out of Joe's team, and Big Al Connolly out of Australia was just added at the beginning of this year too, and we will be adding more. Okay, and so if you have an interest and you are already at some leadership level, and of course the leadership levels are pretty simple right now. Once you have your first 3 levels full, that's the start. Okay, then we're going to eventually bring that leadership. Okay, once you get to 62, which is your all 5 levels, and you're spilling over into your 6th level, that is the next. That's a next level of leadership or higher, between 100, 500, and because now we got senior leadership that have thousands, literally thousands, 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 a team. Okay, and that's just one part of a qualification. There's a lot more that goes into it. Skill sets are a qualifier. The ability to want to do what? To step out of their comfort zone and do these Zooms, as a matter of fact, because Gary and I are not going to be able to keep doing this. And we are looking to our senior leadership team and the future of that, because we just are not going to have the time. I'm already being called and beckoned to Canada with the Alpes, and just all over the world already. They've been waiting for me and my wife to come to India, to Australia, to New Zealand, to Spain, to just different parts of the world, not including the United States. So, and we're going to be traveling, and we're already, I told you that Jeff McBee, who's here with us, and David Gwynn are, Jeff is a global team leader. He has way more than 62, and he's growing. Matter of fact, I can throw a rock at Jeff's house, which is kind of another story. And there's no such thing as coinkydinks here in Oklahoma, as we say. And David Gwynn and I go way back, and David's in Oklahoma City. So they are both city leaders. What is a city leader? Well, in the offline world, we will open up major cities. Okay, so in Oklahoma, we've got 2 major cities, Oklahoma City and Tulsa. Then we have suburbs around those major cities, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we already have a group here in the Tulsa area that we started from basically day one. And when we say baby steps, one of the baby steps is for David to retire his first business. He has a business, David, don't you?
I do.
Yes, he does. What do you do, Dave? What do you do during the day?
I own a courier service, so I've got big contracts with big banks, big corporations, and I pick up all their mail and deliver it to them in their banking lock boxes. I work with attorneys' offices and filing legal paperwork in the court system, and just a variety of different things like that. So it's
Well,
been
and
been a journey.
it's kind of a good news. I don't know. It's not bad news. It's David's worked his butt off building that business. Okay, and obviously he's part of his why is his family, right? And
Yep.
right, and so but he's got options. And David could do what? David could sell that business off. Absolutely can. He could keep it and hire somebody to do what he's doing, the driving part. So he's got
Yeah.
options. But the long story short is that I will retire David from some form or fashion of that, because David in Oklahoma City has got a lot bigger fish to fry from 2 categories, from the offline building of what we're doing, also into setting up collaborations with business owners. I'll be coming up to see David, and we're going to start having strategy sessions. He'll be coming here to Tulsa to meet with Jeff and I. We're getting ready to have a meet and greet here in Tulsa very quickly now that we're into March and away from the ice and snow and crap that's kept us kind of apart. So,
Right.
but the big picture, see, because Gary and I think, and David and our senior leadership team thinks in big picture. Okay, the bigger picture is that we, as big as this is already online, we know how much bigger it's going to be offline because we're taking this back old school. The only thing old school that we're going to stick with is the belly to belly that we
Yep.
already use with the technology that we have, right, Dave?
Face to face.
That's right. Face to face. This is face to face with technology. Okay. Get used to it, embrace it, learn it. And when you use it, I guarantee you, your closing ratio will go from maybe 1 or 2 or 3 out of 10 to 7 or 8 or 9 out of 10 over a shorter period of time. When you start doing what we've been teaching for the last 8 months, you know, we don't just teach it, we practice and preach it, and we've proven it with the numbers. The numbers do not lie. We did
Right.
not go from 100 in week 1 to 23,000 paid members at the end of January the 31st. So we've gone now listen to this. We've gone from 23,000 paid members on January the 31st to 112,000 in my back office since February 1st.
An
You
incredible
understand the
increase.
significance of that, David.
Incredible increase.
Yes,
Bob,
and again, we qualify by telling everybody here that those are not paid members yet. Is there a
Right.
guarantee that 100% will come? Nope. We went through, David. Remember when we went through these scenarios that we all sat around senior leadership team. We said, "Hey, wouldn't it be wonderful if we had at least our 62, and those 62 had their 62, you know, or some portion thereof." You know,
Right.
actually, there's 62 of their 32, which will get you to the 10,000 a month just from the one income stream. Just if you're
Right.
crunching numbers, okay. But we
Right.
don't care about that, okay, because that's the third income stream. The
Right.
first income stream starts out at 50 cents per person, and it's just simple math. I don't care if they're on your left side or your right side. You just add them up times 50 cents. That's what you get paid once a month. Your
Yep.
unilevel is your first 2 people, and then however many after that, and you get paid 50%. You get a matching bonus check of 50% of their business from now till kingdom come
Yep.
for your first level. Your second level, you get 20% matching bonus. Your third, fourth, and fifth level, 10, 10, and 10. And it's not 2 people. That's just your first level. Your second level is how many, David? 4.
4.
Your third level, 8,
8.
16, 32
16.
times that amount of money per month
Right.
times the 20, 10, 10, and 10. That is every month. And then your ambassador pack money is boom, every day. Boom, boom, boom. How many? Well, I don't know. How many of your people are getting? How many of your people are moving? How many other people under you are you helping to get moving? Okay,
Right.
that's where all this training comes in. Do not underestimate the power of correct, proper training and the significance of taking that and applying it consistently. Give David, give Jeff, give Amy, give Bruce, give everybody on here that's got a team, give them at least 3 to 4 hours a week. 3 to 4 hours a week. And commit to those hours and start learning. Yes, you're going to be behind the curve because you don't have full time. Look, I didn't get to retire my wife with just my job. So I was working 60 hours a week and I was willing to put in another 20. I was putting in 20 hours a week. I didn't have to. I had 2 young kids. I sacrificed my time, and once I got her 4 years before me, then she took over that. So she didn't have to work because my side gigs made more money than she was making working part-time. But it was
Yep.
important to retire her first so she could take the kids and keep them in the sports and be there. And I would go to the games that I could go to, but they all knew. They're 34 and 31 right now, and they know from the time that they were 14, 15, and 16 why I was doing what I've done and why it matters now.
Yep.
big is the pot? How big? How big can you dream?
I did it with my kids, and I'm going to do it with my grandkids.
We're gonna
I go to their events.
close it down, and I'm gonna tell you two things. And one of them comes from Warren Buffett. Why do I say Warren Buffett? Two things. He's a multi-billionaire, number one, and he didn't do it overnight. Matter of fact, he drives the same old piece of crap car, as he calls it. Why? Because he wants to.
Yep.
Okay. Sam Walton, until he died, drove his old pickup truck to all the new Walmarts in Oklahoma out of Arkansas. He drove his old pickup truck and wore his overalls.
Yeah.
The only reason he put a suit on is because the board of directors forced him to.
Yep.
Or he wouldn't have wore a damn suit. And on his deathbed, you know what he said? He said that he hopes and prays that all the little people that invested in the Walmart stock would stay with him, because one day they would be wealthy. Do you know how many millionaires that man made because they saw the vision that he had and they stayed with it? That's what this company itself is going to make more millionaires in the next 2 to 3 years than probably half of the damn businesses that are out there right now.
Yep.
Mark my words, write it down. My wife and I are going to be millionaires.
And I'm going to be one of them.
And David's going to be one of them. I'm going to tell you right now, my wife and I, it's just simple numbers. Even if we only had 50% of the people right now decide to make the decision to join with us going forward, in 2025, my wife's and I business is worth $500,000 right now.
Yep.
That's right.
I told my son this morning I'm going to be the first Gwyn millionaire, and I'm going to be the first Gwyn to live past 100.
There you go.
I can enjoy it and watch my grandkids grow up.
So what did Warren Buffett say? What did Warren Buffett say? Well, what was the other thing? Do you know that Warren Buffett money comes from what? From the businesses that he has bought and turned around with his management team. That's where his money has come from. But did you know that he owns 3 companies that are not traditional businesses? He owns and has owned them for a long time. He owns 3 network marketing companies.
Wow.
In his portfolio. And he has a famous quote, and it's very simple. If you are not making money while you are asleep, you are going to die working a job.
Yep.
Write it down. If you are not making money while you sleep, you will die working your job.
Yep.
Period.
Exactly right.
And I'm just going to tell each and every one of you that I love you. We love each and every one of you here. Okay? Because why? Because it's the 90% of the people that saw the vision that Gary and I saw that are still with us today, and is why we are here. If it were not for God himself, because God intervened in my life 40 years ago to start, and then 20 years ago, and then 10 years ago, and 5 years ago, and then 9 months ago, again, by bringing Gary out of retirement and putting this in front of me 9 months ago. I don't believe in anything coincidence. Okay? And I was going to walk away from it, but I didn't. And God bless Gary and the people that brought it to him, because here we are. Right now, we're so close. We are so freaking close right now that I can taste it all. I can smell it. I can feel it. I can touch it.
Yep.
I can taste success. And what does success look like to me? Well, what it looks like to me, for my wife and I, is the fact that we are going to get to do the phase 2. The phase 2 is what? That we have promised our children that their children's children are taken care of, and that's done. We've done it. It's
Yep.
in place. So now all we got left to do is make sure that we keep the nucleus of our leadership intact, and they do the same things, and then you will do the same things, and everybody will have the success that they want when they want it, but not before. So
Right.
God bless each and every one of you. I thank each and every one of you for coming out. I challenge each and every one of you to go out and just talk to people in a normal conversation, and you will get the opportunity to ask the question, do you shop online? And that's your door opener. I've got the whole script on that platform. It's been sitting there for months now, and I tweak it every once in a while, but for all practical purposes, that's the same thing that's worked, and I close 9 out of 10. David closes 8 and 9 out of 10. Okay. And it's just a matter of, are you practicing? Are you talking to folks? Because there is nobody that you can't touch now. Nobody. Everybody that your friends, your family, and you got to get away from, well, they ain't going to talk to me until I show them the money because I've done all these things. That is correct. I understand that. That's happened to a whole lot of people, including me, a long time ago.
Yep.
The difference, what was the difference? The difference was the first 7 years, I did it all wrong. I didn't get a mentor. I didn't plug into training. I didn't come to events. I didn't go to the Zooms. I didn't watch. But once I changed all of that, and I stuck to the hip of Rex Harris, and I plugged myself in and made myself start learning what he was teaching, and came to the Zooms, then little by little, it wasn't overnight, but I quit my first job. I resigned from my first job with Kimberly Clark 8 months after I took a mentor on that 7 years that I couldn't do it previous to it. You have mentors in front of you right now. You have upline leadership all the way to the top that you can depend on. You just got to ask for their help and reach up and plug in and then teach the same thing. That's what's duplicatable. And once you become a leader, they will know that you're a leader because you lead up front, you lead by example, and you do it 7 days a week, 24/7, 365. And you do things that you're not normally doing until what, David? Till you don't have to do them no more.
You don't have to anymore.
Okay? That's what it's all about. All right. I love each and every one of you. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you, David, for your time today. Thank you, Danielle, for your time today. Thank each and every one of you for your time today. And your challenge is now reach out and bring somebody new Thursday night to training. Reach
Absolutely.
out. Bring somebody new training. If you bring, we'll pack the Zooms. That's how you grow your business.
Yep.
That's how you're going to grow your business. All right. Love each and every one of you. God loves you too. And I'll see each and every one of you all at the top.
Y'all have a great